Hello guys, this is Adlai King once again. I'm back with you in a new video, and this video is about calendar, how to make a calendar. If you were to have a website where you want to allow your user to schedule certain thing in calendar, probably some events, um, then you would need to create a calendar in your ASP.NET and allow them to be able to actually, um, you know, actually be able to add their event in the specific date they want. So this calendar here, um, I have already coded this calendar, but based on a request I have from one of the users, um, I'm gonna use that same calendar and show the codes and how it functions. And it probably not be exactly what the user is looking for or what you are looking for, but that will give you an idea what how to actually do that on your own. You know, if you watch closely, you should be able to see. All right, so now this is the calendar, okay, and this is clearly SQL, or I mean not SQL, but ASP.NET calendar. You just drag calendar from your window, okay. It's just this type of calendar. You just drag the calendar and you drop it here, and then you go in the code of the calendar. Then what you do, you set up the properties. You set up all your properties. You can change the color however you want. For me, I choose it based on what I was looking to do. Okay, that's the color I have, and change the the month background and stuff like that. You can do whatever you want. I mean, as long as you understand what we are showing there. So basically, to modify the color and stuff like that of the calendar, you click on the calendar. You can come here and set all the properties for the calendar. And right here, that on day render, this is going to be where you're gonna put the code, or what we call the audio.net code for the calendar, the code that will go to the database and pull the information from the database and display it in the calendar. Okay, so when you go back to design here, if you would go to this lightning, okay, this lightning thing which called events, and if you click on that, then you will see day render. Okay, on day render you can write, you can give it whatever name you want, and if you don't want to give it a name, you can simply double click on the space. You click once and double click on it like that. If you double click on it, and it'll take you to the audio.net code. Okay, that's where you're gonna be able to code the calendar, and then be able to pass the information to the calendar. So now, how does that work? To do it, first, the first thing you're gonna need is just create your connection between the SQL Server or whatever database you have your data in. It can be MySQL, SQL Server, SQLite, or Oracle, whatever it is. So you have to set up your connection. Okay. Once you set up the connection, then you will write this piece of code here, what we call the dictionary string, okay, comma string, all right. Then you name it, which is holiday. That's what I call it, because this calendar is for some holidays. All right, and equal new dictionary and string comma string. So basically, what that tells you, the information that will be passing to go to the calendar will be string. Okay, it will be string. So now, once you get this piece of code done, um, you go to your event handler. You still remember day render? Under the day render, you have that event handler which I call attach holidays. Okay, under the day handle the day render event. Okay, so now you open your connection to the database. Then you set your each day. All right. Okay, this is a string pretty much. There's a string called each day. All right. Then you set that each day to a date time. Okay, date time equal each day. So it's a string, but it's a date time. So you declare this string, which is a date time. All right, you declare the date time, then you give it a name. Each day, you can give it whatever name you want. Then here, if you already know, this is the SQL statement that will go get the information from the database. All right, so once I finish showing you this, I'm gonna show you how I actually add the data, and you can do it other way if you have other better way, or if you wanna change the way I do it, you can set it up however you want. So with this query simply go to the database and return the event I have in the database. Okay, so if I would go to my database, all right, if I right click on that and copy my code, um, let me click on the database. Um, then I'm gonna run that code in the database and show you what I have in the database. I created that over a long time ago, so I have to kind of go back and try to remember exactly what I did. But just hang in there, you'll see. It'll take you a little time. Okay, so while the SQL is fire up, let me continue. Then the query will be pulling the information from the database. Okay, just like a regular query, and I use a SQL data reader. So under the data reader, I pass the query. Okay, so as the data is passing into the data reader, then I'm filling the date information. So you remember this date string that was created here, the each day, all right? So now I set that each day equal date time or date. That date, okay, that date is that date right there, okay? So the date that come from the database, which is the feast start date, I convert that to a date because it's a date time. I didn't want the date time. So I convert it to date and then I pass it, I give it a name of date. So now I pass that date as the data read, then it's gonna get the date and then put it on that string right here. So now I double check that string, say if the string is equal that day that date, meaning the calendar date. If it's equal to calendar date, then I want to set the information to the calendar. So to set the data or the information returned from the database to the calendar, then you're gonna have to do an which is this is equal to the calendar e. Okay, is that e? Okay, under the render date, when you double click, it create that event. Under the event, which is the e, then I'm going to pass the value I want onto that date. So if the date equal a date in the calendar, then I want to set it to that. So that cell that controls that add new little control, then I just set that to be a paragraph, okay, plus R or underscore RD, which is the data reader, okay, title. The title is the title of the feast. Then I plus it with a space. Then, like when you hit the enter key, it creates a space, and it goes to the next line. So that will create the next line. So before it creates the next line, create the next line between the title and that piece of text here. Then and it add the piece of text under the title. Then it create another space. Then I add the description of the feast. The description is what comes from here. So that's the feast description, which is whatever the feast is gonna be about. So you pass this feast description here. So in your calendar, once the data is returned and load to the calendar, you will see that as your description. And that will be the title, and that will separate the title and the description. You can do it better if you once you understand that, you can fix it whatever way you want. But that's just to make a separation between the title and the description of the event. And then this is the separation. And then I close my paragraph. All right. So now this will be going based on the date. Okay, check the date. If the date based on that date that is returned from the database, is find that date in the from the database, and then match it to the date in the calendar, and then patch the piece of text or the event to that date. Then you go to the next, which is a setup of color. You know, you can set the color of your text or the background. So, for example, my background text will be purple. You see, I set e dot cell that back color equal system dot drawing that color that purple. So to get that system that drawing, one thing you have to do, see which is not necessary. I didn't have that there. Okay, so basically you don't need that. All right, so yeah, so to get the drawing, you just set the color, okay, just like that, and then also here is the four color, the color of the text. So e dot cell that four color equals system that drawing that color that gold no or golden wood. Okay, so that's just give it a gold color, and you have another property to bold it. So these are very clear and you know understandable. So you can set this, but pretty much the piece of text, the most important thing is the text that will be displayed in the calendar. So that's the piece of text here. So once you get the data from the database, here those plus sign are to combine the text. So basically there's a field called title, and this piece of text that I hard code here, plus a field called feast descriptions. And the feast description is a piece of text from the database based on the description of that particular event. You know, you load it into a paragraph. Okay, so basically that's all I have done to kind of display the information into um, the the calendar. Then, you know, I close everything, create a try catch, just in case there's an error. And this is a script to display a message box that show you the error that occurred. So now let's run it and see what it looks like. All right. So if I save this, and then another thing that I probably have forgotten, you may want to download MyFusion. That's scheduling. You can find that on Google, My Fusion, that's scheduling, and then out here you will declare it in your reference. You just add it as okay, using My Fusion or My Fusion, the scheduling. That'll help you with the process. So let me see. So basically, as you can see, let's run it and see how it looks like. Probably take a little time. All right. Okay. All right. So basically, this is the calendar right there. So this is the calendar, okay? And in my case, when I created that calendar, um, I didn't give the option where the user can click on the date to actually add the event because of the fact that this calendar is a secure calendar where only certain people are allowed to add event in it. So these people would have to log in, and once they log in, they will be provided a form, which is right here. Let me just show you how it works. You log into the calendar, and then um, let me see. Let's see if I remember my username and password. All right. Okay. So now this is the form there where I give to the user to add event to the calendar. So the reason for that is because this is a secure calendar. You cannot add event if you are not if you do not have access to this form. So you actually have to have a password and be able to log in and add the event. Okay, so now let's say I'm gonna add an event to this call 2-day demo. Um, all right, I'm gonna call it today demo, and the date for it. Most likely, I have a calendar here. Today is the 8th. Then I'm gonna say 02 08 2017. All right, so I can also set the end date to be the same. Okay, this is the event for the demo. All right, so this is gonna be the piece of information displaying on the calendar. So if yours is not a secret calendar, what you can do, okay, let me save that, then I'll show you. All right, so now it says this information added successfully. Then you can log off that form, and then now when you look in the calendar, you can see right here it say today's demo on the 8th. Okay, that's that piece of code which you can fix however way you want. All right, so this was really built for a phone. Okay, so that's why you see is a responsive application. So I built it for a phone. So when people open it on the phone, it looks like that. That's why you see when you open it wider, it doesn't give you the right you know design. But here that will be the calendar, right? So it says today's event. I mean today's demo, and then this is the event for the demo. Okay, so that's how you add it. But now, let's say you wouldn't want that. Let's say you want to allow the user to add that piece of text by themselves. Then you don't want them to log in to do that. Then what you could do on a click event, you would add a click event under this calendar. Wherever you click on the number or on the date. Okay, so just like you see I click right now, it responds. That means it knows there's a click event happen on the calendar. So what we could do, you could set that click event. Then when they click it, it'll give you a form. And then in that form, you add what you have to add. And then you say, okay, it will go away. And then the calendar will be updated. You can do that if you want to. But in my case, I didn't have to do that because the calendar has to be secure. Only the people allowed are are able to add event on this calendar. That's the reason why you see I mean the person has to log in. Okay, so if yours is not like that, as I say before, you're gonna have to add a click event on the calendar, and when the user click on that specific day of that month you want them to add the event on, then it will bring them a form just like that. When I click logging, it brings me a form to login, and then once I log in, then it brings me a form to add the event I have to. So in your case, you wouldn't have to have that section here or the login page here. You would have the form to to add the event. So once they click here, it'll bring them a form to add the event. So you can do whatever you want. I mean, as long as you understand. But the main point is to get that to work. To get that to work, you have to first create your page, drag a calendar. Okay, you drag a calendar from your solution from your toolbox. Okay, you get your a calendar. Once you get that calendar, you dump it here. You set up your property. You set the property of the calendar, colors, and stuff like that. Whatever you want to set it up. And once you're done with this, then you go day to your day render, which is here. You can you click on that lightning ball under here. You see the day render. You can double click on it. If you don't want to give it a specific name, you just double click on it, and it will take you to an event handler. The event Once you get to the event handler, then you can start writing the code. You can start writing the code here. This is the code that actually put the information in there. That actually display the information onto the calendar. So to add the information to the calendar is just simple thing. Just like you add the data to the database, you just add to the database. If I would go here and show you, okay, all I had done here, in that form, once you log into the page, you get to that form, which come into play in a minute. Okay, so you get to that form here, and under this save button, all I have done is creating, a connection to the database, a few strings, okay, and then, um, and I write my audio.net code, all right, which is going to be loading, which going to load the data into the database. This is right here, okay, insert into the database, okay, the schema, the table name, and then title, start date, and end date, feast description. Then you give them some variables, and then you pass your parameters, pass your variable or your parameters into your variables, so that the data can save into the database. Then you clear the data. Okay, so pretty much it. That's all I had to do to actually build this calendar. It's pretty easy. It is pretty easy. All you have to do is follow this instruction, and you should be good to go. Okay, so there's nothing really complex here. Nothing really complex. Okay, as long as you know what you want to do, you just design it. Okay, just a brief review again. Add your calendar here on your form. Um, once you finish to add it, set your properties. Okay, design and all kind of things you want in your calendar, and then go to your day render under the calendar, which I show you already. You go under the lightning, and then on the day render, you double click that, which take you to the code, or to your code, to the C sharp code section. Once you get here under this event handler, then you write your code to do it. So it's pretty simple to do. So just follow this instruction, you should be able to do it. All right, so that was it for today. And if you guys have any question concerning this calendar process, just give me a thumbs up. First of all, if you like it, and send me a message, or just put a comment or leave a comment on there, and I'll respond to it. All right. So, and if you have any difficulty getting it to work, just get back to me and let me know. I'll help you to do it. Okay? I'll help you to do that as long as I have time, because I work now more than I usually do, so I don't really have much time. But whenever I have time, if you need help, just let me know, and I'll try to do that for you. All right. Once again, this is Adlai King. See you in the next video. Thank you.